Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop in and visit and check out my video. And of course, as you can see, I got a new livery from Mario, and I just want to say thank you very much to him. I think it just looks awesome. We changed it up just a little bit. Just instead of the green, we got the orange, but it's the same kind of design, just different, a little bit different color. I think it looks great on the AMG. I think I love it. So he hit it out of the ballpark, in my opinion, and I really appreciate it. But just a little lead in here before the video. I got in an LFM race here at Mount Panorama. Of course, we're here at Mount Panorama. And I raced the AMG EVO, and I just, at the last second, I had a roughed in setup, and I made a small little adjustment, and it was just over the edge. It made the car a little bit too oversteery, and I tried to correct it with some TC, and I was hoping that maybe it would start to level out after a while, but if anything, it got a little worse, and then I ended up bending it 3/4 through the race, so kind of ruined that. And finished the race, came in and fixed the car, finished the race, but I was way down in, like 20th, no, 18th, finished like 18th. So I was in the, top 7 or something when I did that. So just a mess up on my part. But it's just that it shows how touchy these setups are or can be. Doesn't take much, just a little hiss and a little of that, and it really changes the dynamics of the car. Especially, which I don't think it gets talked about enough. At least to me, it doesn't. The way the car changes going through a fuel stint. The way to me, I can feel it. I can feel the car getting a little tighter or a little looser depending upon the car. But AMG feels like it just gets a little bit looser. Nothing drastic. It just feels like the car gets a little bit more happy in the rear end as the tires wear, as the fuel comes off, all those kinds of things. And so if anything, in the beginning, I think I would rather be on the tight side. Not much, but just a teeny bit, in the very beginning, and then as the car, burns fuel and things and that, if it loosened up a little bit, it's not the end of the world. You might even get a little faster. That's okay. But in the beginning, I think it's just, you're really I'm really trying to find that feel to where you don't want it understeering like mad, and because then that's too much. But you don't want it to be so rotating so freely that then it loosens up even more, and then you got a car that especially here on the mountain at this place at Mount Panorama, one little mistake and you're done, and it's over. So we're just going to make a lap, and then we'll go over the setup. I'm really happy with it though. This thing is a monster down the straightaways. Over the mountain, it's good. It's not really its forte. I think it holds its own. But you can make it go better over the mountain, but then you're going to sacrifice some of the straightaway speed. So I've been trying that, working both angles, so to speak, on the setup. I've been doing a lot of laps. See, a 202.8 is my fast right now. Good speed down there, 156. Probably this car and the BMW are probably my favorite front engine cars. I've always loved the AMG, and I really like the BMW also, especially for a 6-cylinder. I just think I like it too for its strengths and weaknesses. But you can see it handles the bumps good, goes over this curbing pretty good down there. Of course, the AMG's got a beat on the sound. That I gotta give the AMG on the sound. I love the sound. Of course, I'd go through here in second, trying just to let the momentum to get a good run off of here, not slow it down too much. .177 miles an hour, so I mean that's definitely flying. That was like the third or fourth lap or something, but it's 202.27. So again, I started off with 55 liters. So again, really happy with the pace, and it was running anywhere from there, and staying in the mid 202s and things like that. Of course, you got no draft, and it's a little hotter. It's like 25 degrees, 24, 25, which I usually run around 22 or 23. So again, in right conditions, if I'm sure it could get into 201s, but it's definitely there. I'm looking more for over a pace, over a stint, not just looking for that one lap or that one golden lap. I'm literally, because I really like to have something that has good pace. In that race in LFM, it was kind of neat because it was the first time I come here to Mount Panorama with the update and the newer cars and things like that. And of course, it was loaded with Ferraris, and the Ferraris are just killing you over the mountain. But then I would gain a lot back going down the straightaway and going to the start finish line. I'd claw a lot of that time back. So it was actually pretty interesting to see it. The same thing with the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini was the same way. It was killer over the mountain, but again down the straightaway, I would pull away some. So again, it's strengths and weaknesses, and as the race would go on, you could see obviously depending upon what setup somebody had, you could see some cars start dropping back and falling back, and other cars wouldn't. So again, that's where I'm trying to concentrate on, because you're not just racing the competitors here, you're racing definitely this mountain. You're racing Mount Panorama. And so, you got to race both and have a little bit of consideration for both. At least that's my take on it, because if you can have the fastest lap in the world, but if you're banging off the walls all the time, you're going to be nowhere. So you got to kind of have it both, trying to find that fine line and something that can race and go where you where you pinpoint it, because it is such a pinpointy place. But again, I could rattling on. I'm just trying to explain, what my philosophy is of trying to do a setup for this place. So whether it's right or wrong, that's just how I do it. We got 25.4 left front, 25.2 left rear, 24.8 right front and right rear. The toe's negative 0.1 on the front, with the camber at negative 3.4 on the left front, negative 3.6 on the right front, and the caster at 9. And the toe on the rear is a positive 0.15, with the camber at negative 2.9 on the left rear, negative 3.1 on the right rear. Electronics are 5 and 4. You can go 4 and 4. I just did it 5 and 4, just to basically have a little bit of extra, in the tank as far as the parachute. Of course, I started out with 55 liters with the number 1 pads. Tire wear was very, very good. No graining or anything. And front to rears were wearing a little bit more than the fronts, but better than the Porsche or the Lamborghini or anything like that. So it was pretty close. So that's really good. Anti-roll bars 3, brake bias is 59, steering's 12. Springs in the front are 143,000 with a bump stop rate of 700 and a bump stop range of 1. And on the rear, the springs are 107,000 with a bump stop rate of 600 and a bump stop range of 10. Anti-roll bars 3, and the preload is 80. Here, you can go down to 58 on the brake bias. That's not a problem at all. Maybe even get into 57s, maybe, but be careful, because then it'll start getting a little happy with you, but 58 for sure. Other than that, I tried some different spring packages, different bump stop rates, and this is what I settled with. This seemed like the best balance, but I was going with some stiffer rates in the front, and it didn't feel too bad, but then I just didn't like it as it went. So tried some different things. Again, this seems like a good happy medium. Shocks all the way around are 1143. That's all the way around. Again, dialed in with Motec. And again, the graphs came in good, but again, not perfect, but I thought it was a big improvement. Aero got 50. It's all the way down in the front, 72 in the rear with a 3 splitter and a 6 wing and a 3 and a 2 in the brake ducts, and the front aero variation is a negative 0.1. So here, of course, since they changed the ride height on the AMG, of course, now this is the only car now with the newer cars that have the splitter option in the front. So again, something that you can use to fine tune. So again, that's what I would use. If you think you can go with some more basically some more rotation, I would probably go just one click at a time. And even then, depending upon the track conditions, maybe if you got more grip, you could do that. I would not raise the rear anymore unless you raise the wing. So those are two that go together. I mean, I did try that combination of 73 rear with a 7 wing, and it was pretty good. It wasn't bad, and the speed was really close too. So, again, something that you can try if you think that you want maybe even a little bit more in reserve. That's something you can try also. But I didn't see an improvement in time. Because over the mountain, it's still basically the same places. Basically, when you go up by that wall, you got to lift a little bit, and when you start heading down the mountain, you got to lift a little bit when you go down that left-hand turn going down the mountain. So again, somebody just got to lift a little bit and go back on. So again, if you hit it right, but you still can't. You can hold it wide open like with this, but you got to. It's really threading the needle, and you probably wouldn't do it but once. If you try to do it again, you'd probably put it in the wall. So again, it's just to me, you get a little bit freer right here, and the car actually seemed a little bit more stable in some of the slower stuff. So some of the slower corners. So again, and you get get the acceleration. Braking's the same. This thing brakes really really good. I was out braking a lot of people in the LFM race. So again, I think the braking is really good with this combination. But I hope you enjoy it. It should work really well. Again, this is meant for more of a stint here, but I mean, you still should be able to run, qualifying low 202s or in the high 201s. It should, with no drafting. So again, drafting this thing, I probably hit 180 down the straightaway if you're drafting with somebody. Man, this thing would be really flying. But again, I appreciate it. I hope you give me a like and subscribe. And again, thank you, Mario, for the great livery. I appreciate it. And again, for his support, and again for Mark and Stu and Mike, thank you all of them for their support, and thank you to you for your support for liking and subscribing and watching this whole video through. And again, I have a Discord link, which this video, I'll leave a link in the description, but again, this also will be a link in my Discord. And I got setups building over there, slowly over there, so they'll be in either place. And of course, I do have a PayPal account if you want to help support the channel that way, which is great. Any amount is fine. Again, all my setups are free, so if you can, that's fine. Just they're still free. But I do really appreciate any support. It really does help with some of the costs of doing stuff and little odds and ends that I do for the channel. So I really appreciate it. And I thank you, and I sure hope you come back and visit again really soon. See ya.